What's up, guys? It's Mike. It's another beautiful day, so I thought I'd come out here and make another video for you guys. And I've got something that people are always debating about, and that's buying a bike brand new from the dealer or buying your bike used from an individual, just somebody who's selling their bike. And I can speak from experience of buying the bike from a dealer. I bought both of my motorcycles brand new from a dealership, and I had a good experience. But I'm actually looking for a motorcycle right now to add to the channel from a private seller because I want to buy a used one. And this way I can kind of, since I'm in the middle of this whole thing, I can kind of give you guys my perspective, and hopefully it'll help you guys along your journey when you're out there trying to buy a new motorcycle. And yeah, so there's also a couple things you want to consider when you're buying a bike. You want to make sure that you know which bike you want. That way you can go out and find the best deal on that particular bike. But at the same time, you also kind of want to know how long you want to keep your bike. And that's going to be a factor of how much you want to pay for it, which is going to help you decide if you want to buy it new or used. But there's actually a lot of other things that come into play, more than just the price and the mileage and things like that. So I've actually got a nice list for you guys. And since you guys can tell, I'm riding in the middle of rush hour here. Let's go find a nice spot to pull over. I can give you guys my list, and I can actually give you guys a better comprehensive overview of what I'm actually talking about here. Alright guys, so this is the quietest place I could find. There might be a few people coming in and out of the parking lot, but let's get to it. The first thing I'm going to talk about is obvious. It's the price. You're going to get a better price if you go for a used bike, for sure. But not always, because if you go to buy a used bike and you want to buy something fairly new, the prices are not that much lower than what they are at the dealer. Usually you have maybe $1,000 to $1,500 less, but now you have to incorporate all the wear and tear items, such as tires, brakes, it might need an oil change, etc. So make sure that if you do go to buy a used bike, you check all of that stuff. And there goes your dog. Alright, next thing is warranty. One of the things that I got with my bike when I bought it last year was a 5-year warranty. That's an awesome feature to have because you have peace of mind. You don't have to worry about beating up on things. You don't have to worry about riding the crap out of your bike. You can enjoy your motorcycle. You can do whatever you want to do. And yeah, the warranty will kind of be something you can fall back on. As long as you don't mod it too much and you don't have any crazy changes from stock. But even if you do, you can slap those pieces back on, the stock ones, take them to the dealer and say you never did anything. You didn't hear it from me though. Next thing would be service history. You don't know what kind of service history the bike has. The guy can say he did his oil changes at whatever, he can say he did this, he can say he did that. But unless he's actually got the paperwork to prove it, which most people don't because they do their own work, they do their own oil changes and stuff at home, you got to kind of take his word for it. You got to take the bike, look at it, bring somebody who knows motorcycles. Me personally, when I went to go buy my first motorcycle, I didn't know anything about motorcycles. I know about cars, but I don't know much about bikes. So I didn't really have anyone to bring with me, and that was one of the deciding factors for me to go buy a new bike because I just wanted that peace of mind. I wanted to know everything was going to be working, everything was going to be as it should, and if anything got broken, it was of my own fault. Next thing is modified bikes. You don't know about any modifications that the guy has. unless he lists them. So there's always going to be something here and there that he's changed or customized or adjusted that he might not let you know about. But the bigger picture is they might have mods you don't like. You might want a specific bike. You might go out there and have your heart set on a bike, and you might say, okay, this is the one I want, whatever. And the only ones that you find are modded. People have done things to them. People have changed the exhaust, or people have put on different handlebars or different mirrors or whatever, anything like that. And it might be something you don't like. And you're going to have to deal with that and go out there and get yourselves either the stock parts or the parts that you want, unless it comes with the parts that you already want, which isn't always going to be the case. The next big thing is mileage. A lot of bikes are going to have low mileage, and they're going to be a little bit cheaper than new. So you're not going to be going like too much into the discount zone, I should say. If you go to buy a used bike, you're probably going to get it for about $1,000 to $1,500 less than what it is new if it's within the last 5 years and it's under 10,000 kilometers. And if you buy something like that, you're almost buying a new bike. So you can basically feel good to know that the guy hasn't really had too much time to mess it up or to play with it or to do anything detrimental to the motorcycle, unless he's dropped it. Which there are signs you can tell by looking at if there's any scrapes on the mirrors, if there's any scrapes on any of the levers, if the levers are bent, if there's any scrapes on any of the shifter or the foot pegs in the front or the back or on the swing arm. The back turn signals you can check for scrapes. You might get some along here as well. I've never dropped a bike, but I know what to look for because I've seen enough of them. And once you start getting up into the higher mileage bikes, then you got to start looking at different things. You got to make sure the guy did all his maintenance on time. A lot of bikes, they require valve adjustments at certain intervals. Check if he changed his radiator fluid, his coolant, his spark plugs. What else? Brakes, tires, the regular stuff. But you got to watch out for all of that. Not everybody does their service as recommended. There's also going to be a larger variety of bikes depending on if you want to buy new or used. I would say there's a larger variety new, because when you go to buy a bike used, like say you want an SV650 like I have, it's very hard to find used. Not very many people sell them. A lot of people keep them for a long time, and it's not something you can just go out and readily pick up on the used market. It's kind of hard to find. You got to search for it, and sometimes you got to go out of your direct area where you live in. You got to go a little further out to go find it, and that could be a problem for certain people. Now, this could also go both ways, because you could want a bike that they don't produce anymore, or you like a certain model year of a bike and they don't make it that way anymore, and you just want to go get that bike. Then definitely, then used is the best way to go, because you're going to be able to find the bike that you want, and you're not going to be able to basically buy it new anymore, like I just said. But that's when it comes into, you need to bring someone with you that's knowledgeable about motorcycles if you aren't knowledgeable yourself, so that you don't buy something that you're later going to regret. So make sure you always get a second opinion, bring it to a mechanic even if you don't know anything yourself, and just get the guy who owns it to turn it on, to ride it down the street, to make sure it looks like it runs properly and everything is as it should be. Next thing I would say is consider what kind of rider type you are. If you're somebody who's going to take care of your bike, not go and over the speed limit, not go into the red line, baby it, ride it good, and make sure that you try to keep it as good condition as you can, then make sure that the person you're buying the bike from is the same person that you are. Because you don't want to buy a bike some guy beat up, and you're going to go home and expect to have a mint bike, and then you find out a week or two down the line that it's been beat to shit and it's not as mint as you thought it was, and now you're going to be kind of disappointed. You're not going to like your bike as much, and you're going to feel like you got screwed. And something that I touched on earlier is how long you plan to keep your bike. My first bike, I drove it for 4 years, and I still sold it for about $1,500 less than what it was what I paid for it. So paying $1,500 to ride a bike for 4 years is not bad at all. This bike I plan to keep for at least 5 years. That's how long the warranty is. So I'm going to ride it for that, if not longer. And I'm planning to add another bike to the channel soon, guys. But that's a good way to decide what bike you guys want to buy. Because if you want something for your first bike and you know you're going to ride it for a year or two and get bored and want something bigger, then go out and buy a used bike. You can pick something up really cheap, really easy. You're not going to worry about scratching it because it's probably already got a few dings here and there. And you can just enjoy the bike, have fun, learn on it. Not care if you ride the clutch a little bit at the beginning. Not care if you scratch it parking it or whatever the case may be. And then, how picky are you? If you're really nitpicky and you go up to a bike and you go, oh, well, you know, this is scratched and this has that and this doesn't sit the way I like and this doesn't do this, you're not going to find a used bike that you like, because every bike has something. It's not going to be mint. It's not going to be perfect. Unless the guy rode it out of the showroom, took it home, and he's selling it, there's going to be things about the bike. Like, you're never going to have a perfect bike. Like, even me, I've got a little scratch here, a little scratch there. There's things about it. Like, you're never going to have 100% mint bike if you buy it used. And the last thing that I'm going to say is, do what makes you comfortable, man. Buy the bike that you think you're going to be happy with and you're going to be comfortable with. If that's a new bike, then go for new. If that's a used bike, buy a used bike. But definitely buy something you're going to be happy with. Get something that you like. Don't just pick something up because it's right there in front of you. Get the one that you actually like, because you're going to enjoy riding it a lot more. But let's get back to riding this one, and I'll give you guys a few more things that I have in mind. So, what it mostly comes down to, guys, is peace of mind and personal preference. Because you will save a little bit of money, but not too much money. I'd say a good $1,000 or $2,000, which is a lot of money, but it depends on, like I said, how long you want to keep your bike and all of that stuff. And something else I didn't mention is, if you go and buy a brand new bike, well, you can buy a used bike from a dealer as well, but you have the option of financing. So if you go buy a bike from a dealer rather than a private person, you have the option of paying it off over a certain term instead of paying it all off at once. Me personally, I like to just pay them all off. That's why it took me so long to buy my second bike, but at the end of the day, I just have that peace of mind that it's paid off, it's my bike, I don't have to worry about anything. All I do is pay insurance and put gas in and have a good time. And let me know if you guys want, for all the people that already have motorcycles, I can make a video for the top 5 best ways to get the most money for your motorcycle, because I recently sold my bike and I got pretty good money for it. So if you guys want to know my tips on what I did to get every single dollar I could out of that thing, then I'll make the video for you guys. Just let me know in the comment section if that's something you guys are interested in. So to summarize quickly, make sure you know what bike you want. Make sure that if you do buy it used, you know who you're buying it from, that they're the same kind of rider like you, and you're not buying something that you don't know what you're getting into. And thirdly, make sure that you go out and you get the bike you want. Don't settle for something. Buy the one you want, whether it be new or used. Make sure you're happy at the end and you want to ride it. It's something that you enjoy, something you're proud of, something that you actually are happy to see in the garage. But I think that about covers it, guys. So in fear of making this video a little bit too long, I'm going to end it off here. Please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Leave me a comment if there's anything I missed or anything you guys want to add. And until next time, guys, thanks for watching and ride safe out there. Peace.